All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are right here, live speaking to all of you. I do hope you found some little time to actually experience some of your favorite games or any other engagement that you're indulging in. I do see some of you actually filling in that main feedback form that's on the screen. At the bottom tab, if you click, you see a feedback form icon, right? So I'm sure some of you have already shared your feedback with us. Those of you who haven't, please do so right away as I lead you all into the next chat that's almost simmered and appearing to you on the stage. We'll be further, putting a spotlight on, say, the success stories, the discussion, and do a deep dive into how businesses across the country are effectively planning critical changes when it comes to the cloud technology, right? So at this summit, according to the no waste rule, people's time and attention, ladies and gentlemen, I do feel is the single most important resource. So my team and I, we value your spending the most useful resource with us, that is your time, your energies. So we are humbly trying our best to make sure that you find no trace of fatigue, rather you enjoy the on point and also some off-guard perspectives from our speakers, of course, with all the elements and all the points that you're gaining on the leaderboard with respect to all the impressions that you're making on the screen. So keep it going all live and happening. Yes, all those points coming in your favor. But right now, yes, during the summit hours, of course, I'm not allowing you any tech sabbaticals. I want your full attention as we lend our ears to the conversation coming up next. Yes, right here. So we will be talking about keeping up with the ever-changing needs in security. Now, that's one element from the technology bit, which is unmissable, ladies and gentlemen. So allow me to please welcome Kailash, Nadh, the CTO from Zerodha. Well, this chat will be in conversation with Sathyajith, the head of India and SAARC region Cloudflare. Well, Samuel, I'm giving the conversation threads to you. You can carry on with the chat with Kailash.
Hello, and welcome to Cloudflare Customer Success Story at the Economic Times Cloud Innovation Summit. I'm Samuel, and I head India and SAARC region at Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a global network designed to make everything you connect to the internet secure, fast, and reliable. Cloudflare provides network as a service through the ubiquitous global cloud platform at the network edge, which is closer to the applications and closer to the users or the employees. This high-speed, highly secure network of Cloudflare has become very critical to customer businesses. One such customer success, which I'm very proud to share, is India's leading and the biggest stockbroker in terms of active retail clients is Zerodha. It is my privilege and an honor to have Kailash Nadh, the CTO of Zerodha, as our customer and guest speaker in this fireside chat. Kailash has a PhD in artificial intelligence and computational linguistics and is the brain behind Zerodha's technology. Hi Kailash, welcome to this fireside chat.
Thanks for the gracious welcome, Samuel. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Kailash, on India's Independence Day, the 15th of August in 2010, more than a decade back, you started the operations and named the company Zerodha, which means zero barrier. A decade since Zerodha started its operation has broken barriers on discounted broking. And technology has been the tool to break these barriers. And you've been the main architect of this technology. Can you please take us through this journey?
Thanks, Samuel. So Zerodha, in 2010, like you said, Zerodha started out as a discount broker, offering a very unique and low pricing point as opposed to traditional stockbrokers who are really large banks, incumbents. Uh, and it was unique because it was a very unique model because as opposed to the traditional way of charging a hefty percentage for stock investment, Zerodha charged 20 rupees flat and a far cry from the pricing model back then. But interestingly, Zerodha did not really start out as a technology company. There's no technology roadmap whatsoever. The goal was easy access and simple, transparent pricing, and which in itself I would say was quite revolutionary. And 2013 is when we started building Zerodha technology as a technology company. And over the last 8-9 years, we've gone from a small discount broker to a really large full stack financial services company. And technology is our crux. Not just that we use technology to operate, that we build consumer technology and give it out to millions of users to easily connect to the markets, access markets. So that transition from a discount brokerage whose edge was the pricing model to a technology brokerage whose edge is technology and the pricing model, that was a bit of a happenstance, random events in 2013, but it worked out well. So the technology landscape back then was quite very different. India was seeing a big explosion in really high quality consumer technology apps, e-commerce, booking, stuff like that. But the capital markets, broking, finance industry was quite stagnant. Nobody was, working on building better consumer technology or doing anything because the incumbents were really happy with their hefty pricing model. And just to open a stockbroking account with any broker, you had to download and print 40-50 pages, do 50 manual signatures and courier. It was extremely tedious. All of that has only really changed over the last 5 years. Today you can go online with a few clicks, you've opened an account. So the transition has been gradual, but over the last 3 or 4 years, towards the end of the last 8-year journey, it has been explosive in the way that things have changed. And here we are today.
You mentioned about user experience. I mean, that's critical. I mentioned about the 10-page, 15-page documentation and things like that, right? As a stockbroking platform, the trade and investment transactions have to be fast as well as secure.
Yeah.
And user experience, whatever latency, because there's money involved, has to be top notch.
Yeah.
Share us how Cloudflare is helping Zerodha achieve the platform excellence for your users or your customers.
To give some context, I was a Cloudflare user as an individual developer way before we adopted Cloudflare at Zerodha. So I was a happy user. It was very developer friendly. And when Cloudflare launched, I think it still is the only product in its segment that is so developer friendly, built by developers for developers. So I had that context. And as Zerodha was growing, at whatever point we decided that we needed this solution, and it was obvious. I was already using Cloudflare for my personal projects, and we evaluated it and we quickly turned it on at Zerodha. So that experience of being able to use it, deploy it, understand it, program it from a very developer-centric perspective, amazing developer UX, just translated from my personal developer experience to Zerodha's corporate experience, and it was seamless, really. Just click that button, Orange Cloud live. That was it.
I mean, I like that DevOps friendly, developer friendly platform which you mentioned. One of my prospective customer, whom thankfully for your reference, whom you spoke to, came back to me when I was speaking back to them and how was your conversations. He said that they told me that you said that it's very DevOps friendly platform. You mentioned about the API and we don't need to re-engineer the UI and things like that. Can you elaborate on that what do you mean by DevOps friendly and how your engineers use this?
So I've always found Cloudflare to be developer friendly and also DevOps friendly. So when you have a system like Cloudflare, which is also a massive network capacity that you add to your layer on top of all the features that it offers. Generally, the integration is tedious. There's a lot of, in very technical terms, there's a lot of, in very non-technical terms, there's a lot of piping, wiring, orchestration, integration to your existing system. It's very tedious, and generally you have consultants that work with you on and transform your systems to be integrated into this massive network. But as I've said, as a developer, when I first used Cloudflare for my own projects, I found it to be super simple. Literally, 10 seconds later, you're live. That was the same experience that we experienced at Zerodha. So you click one button and you suddenly have connected Cloudflare and all its power and capacity to your infrastructure. Now there are things. It's also a huge CDN network that helps you cache your assets and deliver them really fast. So you need other integrations. When something changes in one of your applications, you may have to signal Cloudflare saying, oh, this thing has changed, you need to update your cache. For that, you need APIs. And the way APIs with Cloudflare works is also, it's trivial to use. You log into your developer dashboard, get the API key, you look at the documentation, make an HTTP request, you're live. And there's an API for absolutely everything. And you don't need external consultants or workshops or any of those things to get started. A developer can just look at the documentation and start integrating APIs in minutes. And solid products that are developer friendly tend to have that sort of UX. And I definitely say Cloudflare has that UX.
Yeah, you touched upon a very important part of the user-friendly and developer-friendly as well as DevOps-friendly operations affairs. As Cloudflare has grown into being a very critical component of customer businesses, right? It's pertinent. Our services are top-notch and our products are top-notch because the entire businesses lies and rides on this. In a stockbroking web-facing properties where your users are over the internet selling, buying these stocks as a trading platform, the availability of this platform is highly critical, especially during the trading window period. And of course, even during the non-trading window, because as a brand impact, it would happen. But during the trading impact, we spoke of the user experience, the latency, how fast you do it. At the same time, the availability is very, very critical. We have seen the increase in the size and scale and complexity of the DDoS attacks to bring down the platform for whatever reasons, be it ransom or be it just to create havoc in the market. And also the frequency of these DDoS attacks are on the rise, which impacts businesses as well as the brand. What could you share with the audience in terms of the best practices to protect against these attackers, especially for organization like you, which is the web tracing properties are very critical to business as well as brand?
So cybersecurity is vast, complex, and broad, but I think it's quite easy to put DDoS in a whole different bucket. When it comes to application security, standard security hygiene practices, code reviews, clean code, better code, careful DevOps, proper firewall rules. Everybody, with some time and effort and technical competency, you can achieve that, and you can shield yourself against many different classes of attacks. But DDoS is on a whole different class. It doesn't matter how secure your application is, how well the code's written, how well it's deployed and maintained. When millions of devices distributed across the world start sending packets to you, there's nothing you can do. Your network has to have the capacity to absorb that without those packets hitting your applications over the internet and completely destroying your live services. So unfortunately, DDoS protection can only be achieved by borrowing massive protective network capacity. So we use Cloudflare. We have Cloudflare in front of all our internet-facing endpoints, applications, systems, and DDoS is not really something that worries us because we've heard of Cloudflare blocking 1 terabits per second level of attacks, which is unfathomable. So unless you have that sort of distributed network capacity and the capacity to specifically detect and thwart DDoS attacks, there's nothing you can do but plug into a system like Cloudflare. And there are other players also, but like I said, we use Cloudflare for all the aforementioned reasons, and quite happy with that. And that also helps us deal with a lot of compliance checklists. We have really strict cybersecurity compliance checklists, and having a system like Cloudflare plugged into our system helps us comply with everything, not just from a checkbox perspective, but from an actual objective technical perspective with actual DDoS protection. And we've seen many attacks have been thwarted by Cloudflare. We don't even get to know. We get an email from Cloudflare saying someone just attacked you. We sorted it out. So that always puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, you're true. But I mean, a lot many people don't realize. I mean, a lot of my customers don't realize when we share the statistics of so many attacks happen, and this is what has been mitigated and is not impacted, which is happening, and those statistics is put across. Because what you see on the other side is a peaceful operation that is up and running, and it's seamless operations. But it also an education for the rest of the people who don't have the protection is so critical today, that availability is critical. And as more businesses have moved online, these web public facing properties, which can be used to the good use, could be misused, could be just brought down by an attacker sitting somewhere else, could be used. Any of this could be IoT based or botted hosts, or could be NTP servers, whatever. They have a lot of various tools to bring down this infrastructure. So rightly said. I wanted to touch upon an entirely different aspect of it, Kailash. I know you well for a long time. You're a technologist at heart and a genius in coding. But what I personally admire most is your approach to sharing this enormous knowledge what you have, whether as a person or as an organization. I mean, we discussed recently when we spoke of the increase in bandwidth and things like that, which we've been doing, and you developed a new code to purge those images and bring down this total bandwidth. And what really impressed me was that you put this on the public domain and said that, okay, I want to share this is something I knew I did, and let someone else, any other organizations could use this and benefit out of it. Similarly, I've seen Zerodha as an organization, right? Your Rain Matter FinTech Fund has been incubating a lot of FinTech startups, right? I would like the participants to hear from you on this. Not many people don't know about this.
Thanks. I guess it's really the FOSS philosophy, free and open source software philosophy. So I am a FOSS developer. I write software, I give it out for free for others to use. We built Zerodha pretty much in its entirety by using free and open source software. Cloudflare also is built heavily using open source software, right? The best, highest quality open source technologies out there. You pick all the pieces, you combine them, and you build whatever you want to. The internet has been built like that. Pretty much everything in the world today is built on top of free and open source software. So it's really the inherent philosophy. You build quality software, you give it away for others to. You can also give it away for a cost. It doesn't mean free as in price. It means free as in freedom. So you give it away for others to use, study, modify, build their own systems. And the unspoken rule really is that if you use free and open source software to build value for yourself, you should also contribute back. What what you can do, what you build, give it back so that others can benefit just like you benefited. If it wasn't for free and open FOSS, if it wasn't for FOSS, there'd be no Zerodha today. And possibly there'd be no Cloudflare either, because Cloudflare is an engineering company which has heavily used free and open source software. In fact, I really enjoy reading Cloudflare's deeply technical blogs that do proper, beautiful dissections and postmortem. So strong engineering culture. So it's really a part of the FOSS philosophy. I mean, Cloudflare also produces a lot of FOSS. You use it. So it's really just that. I just realized this conversation. It kind of sounds like a paid testimonial. Me raving about Cloudflare, but really, I just genuinely like the product on a personal level. So.
Thanks, Kailash. I really appreciate it. I know that it's a mutual admiration of each other's company, and it stems from the personal experience, what you have had and you shared with each other, right? Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. It's a great pleasure having you as a customer. Great pleasure having you as a referenceable customer. Great pleasure to have you as a speaker here to share your experience with the audience here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Kailash and Samuel, firstly, thank you very much. Across your chat, one-on-one chat, we did come across some very important nuggets as to how we can maintain on the security aspect of the cloud technology. Thank you very much for joining us. And we have some tweets raining in. I do have just a second. Yeah, right here. Ankush Sharma, thank you very much for sharing your enthusiasm for the session and also saying that hashtag ET Cloud Summit, nice session. And you particularly wowed with this lovely setup that says that there's some mountains and some butterflies, and of course all that's very experiential. So glad to know you're enjoying that and making those impressions and competing on the leaderboard with some lovely learnings also across the session. So thank you for our delegates. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, if you can manage your cloud well, I would once again say, then it's time to actually modernize your cloud. I'm sure up till now you've had some look at the experience zone. You have visited the software one booth in the experience zone to know more on the cloud modernization services. So keep it all coming. And yes, on my part, I am believed to be a clap holder, you know. Claps, I feel, are pure energy and they feel good. So trust me on that. All I want all my delegates and all my backstage panelists as well to take a deep, long, nice breath. Just be in the moment, be a part of the summit in the complete sense of its meaning. And yes, we are in this together, right? So on a mission to make sure that we are aware and informed for good. There is a panel discussion that's coming up that will drive steadily the growth and the efficiency through data and analytics. Right now, it's time for you just a couple of seconds to gain some 100, 200, up to 500 points, you know, per feature out there where you can fill in the feedback forms and everything else that you can do. I'm sure you're abreast with everything that you need to do to take your leaderboard scores up there. Hashtag ET Cloud Summit. Keep those acknowledgements coming in. It just feels good on our part. I will see you just right back on the screen.